Hello, and welcome to the Amplify Your Confidence podcast. My name is Me, written as NY, at www.dancewithme.com. This is a weekly podcast where I create fun, energetic, and informative conversation that helps you to amplify your confidence and live your life to the fullest. Are you ready for it? Let's go! Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 7 of the Amplify Your Confidence podcast. Today we're gonna talk about a very amazing topic in my opinion. It's about self-love, and especially it through a lens of a photographer. Our guest speaker today is Julie Attallah. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. I guess before we starting our conversation about self-love, let me introduce you to this lovely lady sitting next to me at this moment. Julie Attallah is a very warm-hearted French, that 24 years old photographer who is full of light, love, and talents. Her work focuses on unleashed women power beauty by capturing their essence. She believes that everyone has his own unique traits and beauty to share with the world. To her, seeing women through her lens is like seeing women dare to embrace who they truly are. It's vulnerable but yet powerful. That's the reason why I cannot think of any better guest speakers to talk about this topic than her. Once again, let's welcome our lovely Julie to the Amplify Your Confidence podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I always write the intro for my guest speaker. Of course, they give me some information, but I think this is one of my favorite parts of preparing for the podcast to write, because how you can write about everything, from one person that you just in a few sentences, and it describe who you are, what you do, what you passionate, your purpose. And yesterday when I was writing it, I'm like, this is a good one. I hope you like it.
I like it.
Okay, so let's start first with our favorite game on the podcast. I'm gonna put you on a hot seat, and then you're gonna answer 5 questions for the audience to know more about you. Ready? Yes? Okay. The first question is, what confidence means to you? Either in 3 words or 1 sentence, just whatever come up into your mind.
I think confidence is about knowing your own truth and being able to follow that kind of, but also believing in yourself that you're worthy enough to follow what you know is right for you in a way.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would say is confidence to me.
Yeah. And the second question. What are the most important lessons you learned from your parents?
That being different is good. That was one that I found very difficult for a very long time to accept, that I heard since I was very young, that being different is a good thing and not a bad thing. But of course, when you're very young, being different is not great, because you're not part of the crowd. You're kind of like the black sheep. But as years went by, I realized how important that was, and hearing that quite often really helped me be where I am today. So I think that would be...
And you have all that support from your parents. Just amazing. The third one. What is your weakness? What is your weakness?
I think maybe being too nice.
Okay.
I think some people would call me naive. I don't see that really as a negative thing, because I feel like it's also seeing the good in people and everyone and situation, but it also means that sometimes I might be a bit too nice towards people, because I also want to understand them and give them space for them to allow to live their life and do their own decision, but it also means that I put myself after everyone else. So I would say that that's kind of, it's a strength and a weakness at the same time.
Yeah, so it just like you need to learn how to set your boundaries better. But I think that's the long-term process, I think, in order to finally set a good boundaries for yourself. And you still being nice,
Both.
What is your best childhood memory.
My favorite childhood memory, I actually love that question. I love asking that to other people.
Oh.
I used to go every morning before primary school to my childhood best friend's house to play 4 in a row. It's that game where you have like little coins that you need to line.
Oh.
Yeah, so we would play every morning. I would wake up before and my mom would drop me off earlier to my childhood best friend's house so we could play a few board games right before heading out to primary school. She also lived like a street away, so I'd make things also very convenient.
Yeah.
But I still love every morning being able to, I don't know, start the day together, kind of.
Yeah, with your best friend.
Yeah.
Where is she? Where
She's
is she now?
in Singapore for 1 year right now.
Okay. That's so cute. Are you also like board game fan? Sort of? Like
the two of us?
No, you. Like,
with my friends in general. Yeah, I love board games. You just gotta find the right kind of people that likes board games too, otherwise you cannot play by yourself.
So now we not only know about your childhood memory, but we also know what is your favorite game. Cool. The last one.
Yes.
It's about love. Do you believe in love at first sight?
Oh, that's a tough one. It's hard to say until you experience it, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that when I see someone without talking to them or anything, they can be very far from a room, I don't know them, they're a full stranger, that I feel a vibe or something that makes me wonder about who that person is, and where I'm like, who are you? I want to get to know you, or like, I have this like stronger interest about that person. I cannot explain how, it's just like a vibe or energy that I kind of feel. Yeah. But as I've been single the entire time, I cannot tell you if then it would follow into something. So I feel like in some ways I feel like maybe
it can happen.
Yeah, I feel like love at first sight is kind of strange because it really feels like it's instantly. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like I feel like you can feel a very strong connection to someone without knowing them.
Yeah, definitely.
That's something I believe in. Yeah.
I think I don't believe in love at first sight, but I believe like vibing at the first sight.
Yeah, that's more what I believe in, I think, because love is very strong. I feel like just connection. Like feeling,
or like, because energy, everyone has energies, and or like you feel connection at the first sight, that kind of thing. But to say the word love, I think we need to.
That takes time.
Yeah, it takes time.
I wouldn't love a stranger at first sight.
Yeah. So
yeah, maybe not love, but I feel like feeling connected or feeling like a strong interest at first sight, maybe. Yeah.
Cool. Nice. That's the game. You answer all of the questions. So I guess this is the time for us to discuss the topic today about self-love. Ready?
Yes. Let's do it.
So I also have some questions to discuss with you. I have laid out it here, and I'm gonna start with the first one. So, but before we go self-love first, I want the audience know a little bit more about like how did you choose photography as your career, and when did it start? Just a short story about it, because today we talk about not only self-love, but like the self-love through the lens of photographer. So I think it's very important for the audience also know like what is the reason why you become a photographer.
So it all started at 5 years old. Very young age.
Yeah.
Very impressive. I cannot thank my parents enough for giving me the right object at the right time in my life.
Cool.
I wonder if that object would have been something else, what would have happened if I would have still got to photography or something else, who knows. But yeah, since the age of 5 I've been like passionate about photography. Like as a kid you don't do much, but it started out also with my fellow best friend taking pictures, like using old clothes and just acting like divas, just like small models of what we believe models are doing, and just like really taking pictures of each other and having fun. And I just started doing that with friends more and more. Whenever I was hanging out with friends, we would always like do photo shoots. I always started having studio lights and all these kind of things to play around with. So it's just very normal for me to take pictures with friends every week. I had 1 year break at some point because I was just like not in the best mental space. I needed some space. But at some point when I reconnected with it, I was like, okay, now I want to learn, really want to like make this happen. I really have this dream since I'm a kid of becoming a photographer. I want this to be true one day. And as I did my studies, I did more and more photography, and I graduated like a year and a half ago, and then I decided to just go straight for it and just give it a try. Give myself 1 year, give it a try, see what happens. It's working better and better, so here I am today.
Yeah, and now you can basically shoot everywhere in the world because just your camera and you.
Yeah.
And become a digital nomad. Yeah. But let's talk about self-love a little bit. So what does self-love mean to you?
I think self-love, a big thing about it is like respect. Like self-respect, being able to respect yourself, standing up for what you want, what you need. I feel like also following or doing what brings you joy. You know, to really follow that, because I feel like that's also self-love, is really allowing yourself to get what you want or get what you dream of, or to feel what you deserve to feel. And I guess also allowing you to just be who you want to be, like daring to be you, as we said also in the intro and everything. I think self-love is really about daring to be yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you practice self-love? Do you think we need to practice it? Because sometimes I think this topic is so big, and sometimes this self-love word I use too often, and it's a big word, I think, and it over everywhere now on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And then some people also say it bullshit because it overused. And some people said no, self-love, you cannot practice it. It just comes from within. What is your view on this?
I mean, in a way, it does come from within, but I feel like there are ways and things you can practice to bring self-love to you, because, and I feel like we all have flows of self-love where there's a moment where we feel quite high about it, where we love ourselves, but there's also moments where we feel quite low, and that's when we need to practice, whether it's exercise, whether it's sports. I think it's not like practicing self-love, it's practicing certain things that will help you find your way back to loving yourself. And how I practice it, I know, like connecting back with my elements, like connecting to elements, you know, just I'm very much about my senses. I mean, photography, visual is something, but also just enjoying senses and enjoying the small things. I know that's like a big thing for me to feel good with myself, that in a way then as a consequence also help me have self-love. Dancing is a big one.
Yeah.
You know how great that is. Dancing has always been a great way for me to release emotions, to feel at one with myself, to just, I think it's also about being within yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
I really like with you.
I really like the way that you put it, like it's not like you tell, today I practice self-love, that kind of thing, but it like doing things that bring love back to yourself. Because I believe as a kid or even in school for so many years, then no one tell us to love ourselves. We always are taught to love others, to do things for others. It one way, so in our head, the word self-love is kind of like, of course we love ourselves, right?
Yeah.
But later in life, when you look back, like you said, you are being too nice. We always put other people in front of us. Yeah, and we like also self-love, like you mentioned it about respect ourselves as well, and then how we can do good things for us and make us feel good. And I also believe like the way how you practice this, like through our senses, because at the end of the day it's the self. And how you bring love with this, so you awake all of the sense inside you. So very nice. I love that approach. And the third one would be, why do you choose women and self-love as the center of your work?
I tried shooting men And I can do it. It just doesn't. I don't feel as connected to it. I'm very much, when it comes to my business and photography, since such a big passion of mine, really following my intuition and really seeing what comes and what feels right and what I feel most connected to. And I feel also us as women, like, when you look at the whole gender kind of things, I feel like we struggle a lot to sometimes find our place in society, and there's so much in the past that's been told about how we should behave, how we should be, how we should feel, how we should act, and I feel
how
like,
we should look.
Yeah, and
That's
so
a big
many
part.
things.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's so important for us to love ourselves the way we are.
Yeah.
And also with women with each other are used from the past to judge one another instead of supporting one another. And I really want to try and cherish that. And I was like, you know, there's so many content creators, photographers, so many people on Instagram. And on Instagram, it's quite common that sometimes that culture of like looks and edited photos and everything are not that great for younger people. And I was like, I don't want to participate in that culture. You know, I was like, I'm part of that culture. I'm part of social media. Social media has its pros and cons, as we all know.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to make sure that if younger people are on Instagram, they can also look up to people and feel like they can relate to that person. They can recognize themselves in someone and not only see beauty from one perspective, but see beauty in so many different ways and be part of rather that movement than the perfection movement. And what is perfection at the end, right? Like,
yeah, definitely. I think that the reason why when I just saw you on Instagram, well, we kind of in the same community, right? From the Nomad Escape. I don't know how many guest speaker I already have it on my on my podcast from the Nomad Escape, but it's a community for like-minded people. So we just connected with each other on Instagram, and it like we already vibe. You see,
vibe at first sight.
Vibe at first sight. We create a new phrase. And what I like about your photo is that it like you edit it, but it looks so. It's just a person in front of you, and you capture them just so naturally. And then also the diversity on your portfolio, for example, it's not just only one type of woman that you photography, but different kinds of women, also different type of women in terms of what they do as well. And then you just make it light. I like it. You make it light, you not playful, and make it real, authentic. And I guess that's why we had a photo shoot. So
coming soon.
Yeah. It's and also funny enough that I also came to Julie for that photo shoot, and I told her I want to do something about self-love, because lately I just feel like finally I find so much love for myself. I dare to show who I really are and dare to do what I believe in it, you know, because sometimes you don't want to show it because you're scared people judge you. So I'm finally at this space that I feel like, oh, I can do it and I can show it to the world. So I need some sort of photo shoot could show that. And I came to her, and then we did an amazing session.
So I think that's the thing. Like, as you said, we are always told how to love others, but it's also like we're judged if we love ourselves.
Yeah.
People think you have such a big ego, or you're too self-centered if you say, "Hey, I'm beautiful."
Yeah.
But I'm like, you should say, "Hey, I'm beautiful," and be proud of it. You know, like you should love yourself. You should find yourself beautiful. And that's also what I want people. Like, people reach out to me and be like, "Hey, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not a model, but I want pictures. But I don't have a reason." I'm like, you don't need a reason. Like, please come. Like, the only reason you need is that you want to get that photo shoot for yourself, and that you feel like you want that. You know, like that you're ready for this experience. And I feel like that's the thing. We're judged for wanting to have nice photos of ourselves, or to love ourselves, or like be able to scream on the roof like, "Hey, I love me," and that's it. You know, like.
We need to do it more often. No, and I love the question that you asked me at our intake, kind of like intake session to understand more what I want from the photograph. And you asked me, why do I want to do this photograph fee session? And I'm like, actually, I want to do it for myself. First, I want to do it for myself, and I believe like when we 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, we have different kind of beauty because we evolve as a woman as well through what we do to the people around us. And even it's so beautiful if we have photo to capture all of that of who we are, and then when we look back and we're just like, oh, it's me, it's you. So that's what I love about photography.
Yeah, that's
and yeah, but we just talk about that question. I put it here, like, why so many women afraid of putting themselves in the camera? Like, I struggle as well. Like, dancing helps me a lot, but I love working with photographers as well, because every photographer look at you in different way through their lens. They see your features in no one is the same. No one is the same.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, I'm kind of afraid to look at myself in the mirror, like fully, like this face and the mirror in front of me, you know. And it's just so hard for us to accept all of the features on ourselves, how our nose, our cheeks, and everything. And I think maybe that's the reason why people are so afraid of seeing them in the camera, because it's just kind of naked in a way.
It's like time stands still.
Yeah.
You capture a moment and it stands still. So that also means whatever you love or don't love, you're gonna see it on a picture. But I think like there's also this exercise, you know what I say, like look at yourself in a mirror for like, I don't know, a very, very long time.
Definitely.
And at first you're gonna start criticizing yourself. Like everyone else, you're gonna see, even if it's just like, I look tired today.
Yeah.
Or, like, my hair is not the way I like it. You know, even simple things that changes over time. But as you keep watching yourself, you're gonna distance yourself from criticism, and you're gonna start loving yourself, because at some point you spend so much time just staring at you, you're just gonna have love for yourself and not criticism, you know. And I feel like that's also what I discovered through self-portraits with my camera. You know, I started loving parts of myself that I didn't like before, and it's like a constant process. Like none of us ever reach that level, because there's always, as you said, we evolve, that there's always a constant growth within self-love and always something new to discover and accept and embrace of ourselves. But I feel like there's so many ways that we can look at ourselves, and I feel like a picture is the same as a mirror. It just makes it stand still and you start looking at yourself. But if you look long enough, you're gonna see how beautiful you are, you know, instead of
like you accept it. I used to speak to myself like my face is too round. Whenever I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, oh, I wish if my face a little bit more skinny, and also I wish my eyes a little bit bigger, you know, all of that kind of thing. But now and it's the whole process that you learn how to change the narratives and accept it. I think the moments when you accept the way you are, you start bringing more love to yourself and less criticism, because at the end of the day, everyone is beautiful in their own way. There's one thing on your website that I really like. You put it in, being in front of the camera is vulnerable but yet powerful. So my question here is, as a photographer, what are the most valuable lesson you learned about yourself through capturing so many women, especially women?
I think everybody says that they don't know how to pose or how to be in front of a camera, but I think the main issue is when I speak to you, I see you. When I have my camera in front of me, I also see you. But suddenly that one object, everyone gets very static and nervous in front of it. So I always tell people, just imagine it's a discussion between two people. You know, you're here to create with one another, and you know how to sit on a couch, and suddenly there's a camera and people are like, how do I sit? How do I sit? I'm like, so I feel like something we all forget is to act normal. And I feel like it's maybe also with that thing of time is gonna stand still. People are gonna see you whatever the way the pictures are taken. So it's kind of suddenly you panic because you're like, how should I be, instead of thinking how I am. You know, how do I act? How do I want to be? You know, in the sense of myself, instead of how should I be, you know, how should I pose, how should I there's no shoulds, involved. At least and if you shoot with me, it's no
Yeah.
shoulds. I want you to discover for yourself how you can find your own posing, your own way of being, your own way of expressing yourself.
So that mean the most important lesson you learned by capturing all the women is just the best way is to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So they no shoot, they be.
Yeah.
Yeah, how to be you, how to become better, rather than like what I should do from the to look like this, or what should I do because this is the society standard or that kind of thing. I think that's the most powerful lesson that everyone
Can
should.
say.
Yeah. And you every day you in front of the camera is like a reminder for you as well. How you want to be the photographer that you always want to be, how you evolve. And just like being you in front of your client, right? Isn't it nice? Like you work on something like that. When we went to a photo shoot, I think it just flow, right?
Yeah.
It's just so nice. Like we know each other for a long time.
Although we had just met.
Yeah, we just met. I have the last questions here. Whenever I go for a photo shoot, after that I always have the confidence boost. Because I guess I just didn't see the part of myself like the photographers. They see me and they show me the beauty that maybe I didn't even see myself. So that's why after a photo shoot I'm just feel like super hyper, even super inspired, because working like we co-create. It's not just a photographer job.
Ways.
Yeah. So it's just super fun. So what is your message here to women who haven't had yet the courage to do it? Because if I look at the circle of my friends, whenever, like even I told them, hey, I'm just going to a photo shoot, and they were surprised, like, why?
Yeah. Yeah. Why is the biggest question people get.
Yeah, like, and I'm like, yeah, I want to do it because I want to keep the memories of myself. But what is the message here that you can put out there for women that I'm sure they have the idea that they maybe want to do it, you know? And I think they should experience at least once to see whether they like it or not. Yeah.
I would say not to question it, because so many people question or want to find a reason or justify themselves why they need to have a photo shoot.
Yeah.
But you don't always question yourself why you want to have ice cream. You feel like having ice cream, so you go get ice cream. Right?
Oh my god! This is the best way to put it, because ice cream.
Yeah. It's not like, it's not a need to have ice cream, but you feel like it. It's same with a photo shoot. It's not always a need when it's for personal reasons, or it can become a need. But it doesn't have to have a justification or a reason why for you should step forward. And I feel like a lot of people don't also take the decision sometimes or have the courage, because it's stepping out of your comfort zone. You're gonna let someone else see you and capture you. And that's very vulnerable, because I think in a way you allow someone else to really see who you are. And I feel like that's very scary for a lot of people, to let someone else be in control of capturing you, of seeing who you are as a person, and allowing them to... I have the freedom to capture you the way I see you, to see your beauty. And I feel like sometimes it's like being scared of taking that step, because it's going to be stepping out of your comfort zone. But I feel like sometimes it's also like you're scared of the reality that it's like sometimes you want to stay in that victim mode.
Yeah.
Not for everyone, but sometimes it's easy for us to be like, I don't like myself, I don't like this, I don't like that. And sometimes there's things we know are good for ourselves, but we don't dare to step forward and do it, because we might face ourselves loving ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're also being told that that's not a good thing. So there's, I think, sometimes a bit of that contrast between, like certain things we're told once again what we should do. So I feel like it's also finding the time where you feel ready as well, because some people, they're like, they want to do it, but they're not sure if they're ready. And I'm not about pushing people at all. So I feel like it's really also about them finding the right time and moment where they're like, I'm ready to step out of my comfort zone and trust that person to show me who I am.
Yeah. And I think being vulnerable is self-love, because you put yourself out there as well. And I love the way how you put it, like, yeah, you need to be who you really are and let other people come and see it. But when you have that when you have that love to yourself, then you not afraid anymore, because you know who you really are. And then whoever see you, it in the end of the day, it's you, right? So I think that's the beautiful message that I hope many of the people in our audience right now can hear it. And of course, after that, book a photo session with Julie.
Yes. I'd be happy to welcome you.
So how we can find you, Julie?
On Instagram, Julie A Photo. Or I have a website called Julie A Photographer
.com.
Yes.
That very
useful information.
That very useful.
Yes.
I'm gonna put all the information of Julie in our description, so you can easily find her. And maybe the last message that both us want to send out here: don't be afraid to be who you are. They're the woman you want to be, especially, and have a lot of love to yourself. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and listening to this episode with me. And don't forget to follow me on my Instagram, amplifyyourconfidence_podcast. Please give the rating for the podcast as well, so more people can find my podcast. And have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. Bye bye.